Welcome back, episode 5. What we'll be focusing on right now is calendar. So you should already on your brain dump. You should already know what your inboxes are. One of your inboxes is going to be your calendar, okay? And so one thing that really I drive in is don't put a due date on any of your tasks. Leave all your tasks open-ended. You know when you need to get them done and what order to put them into, and we'll go into that as far as how to do a workflow of the day with your schedule. And it's very important to have that down because we're getting you more tuned in on yourself rather than you getting that job as a personal assistant, because you got to have your stuff together and simplified and being able to just move through it so much faster. Because when you are able to move through your own tasks and your own duties of your day, you'll be able to move faster than the executive or the person that you're assisting. So today we're going to talk about calendar stuff. So in the process of your brain dump, you might have thought about birthdays. So if you have an important birthdays, this could be your girlfriend's birthday, his boyfriend's birthday, your great grandmother birthday, and I got to make sure I remember great grandma's birthday. If I don't, I'm a turd. So what you're going to do is you're going to put those in your Google Calendar. Okay, if you don't have a Google Calendar, you can use whatever calendar you like, but I prefer Google. I prefer Google Calendar. That's what helps me because I can easily use it on all platforms and all devices. So I'm very pro Google and I'm very pro Chrome or PC. I'm not so much on Mac, but Mac is good. So if you're going to use any of these tips, you can use these for other apps. Just take the core information and then adapt it to another app or another task manager. So with the calendar, what I do is that I will put down the date and the time. So for example, if I had an appointment with you on Monday at 2 p.m., then I know that on Sunday before I go to bed, I'm going to have a closing routine or a closing ritual. I call it a ritual because I like to get religious about it. I'm enthusiastic about time management and productivity, so I make it a ritual. And then I have a before lunch ritual because I know when I come back from lunch, I'm going to be groggy. I'm going to be tired. I might have eaten a bunch of pasta. I might have eaten a big sandwich. And I need that to digest. So you can see work productivity kind of goes on decline after lunch. So before I go to lunch, I have a mindset of what I'm going to do when I come back. So I have that mental clarity of what I need to get done after lunch before I go home. And that helps me out a lot. I also have an opening ritual in the morning that I do. I change that up, my personal preference, but for you, I want you to do it every single day, at least for the first 30 days that you're using this system. And you're going to go through and look at your calendar. That's when your inbox is. So you're going to see if you have any appointments for today, what time do you have them at? You might need to have consideration for transportation. Is it a phone call? Have that information in the Google Calendar app. So you're going to have an address of where you're going to meet, the time you're going to get there, or the location of where you have to go meet, and have all that information, who you're going to meet there, what is the agenda, what are you meeting for, what is that point. So if I was to have a meeting with you again, let's say, so I have my own business, I'm a hypnotist. So if I make an appointment with somebody, I want to be very clear before I make that appointment. It's like, this is an appointment where I'm going to show you why you should work with me. And that's the agenda of the appointment. If they say, oh, I don't want to do that, I just want to get coffee and chill out, say, hey, that's why I want to meet you. I don't want to meet you to discuss furniture or to shoot the breeze. I'm there to conduct business. So I had that intention set up. And before I even make that appointment and put it into my calendar, I say like, hey, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're making an agreement that's going to something to come out of this is either A, you're not going to work with me, or B, you are going to work with me. And if there's no miscommunication. It's very clear, and that's what you need to have. You need to have that clarity in your calendar, because when you have a clear calendar, and I say clear not as in like a bunch of open spots, but when you have clarity and you know what you're going to do, then this is where we start to speed up. And I'm going to talk about this in the next video about undetermined work or pop-up work that's not determined. It just comes up. It's like, oh, I got to do this. You kind of just start running around putting out fires. But when you have predetermined work where you already know what you're going to do, it's so much easier to consciously zone out and just get your tasks done, and you're not going to be distracted as often or as easily because you're going to be outside the box. You're going to be outside of all the parameters. And having your calendar set up and having the detail, knowing like, hey, today is January 1st. I'm going to wake up. Rent's due today. Bills due, this due. Okay, make sure all that clears. And then I'm going to go to lunch, or I'm going to look at my schedule. And then I go to work, and I already have my tasks laid out, what I need to do at my work spot, at my workplace, or what I need to do at this dentist appointment or whatnot. And then when I go ahead and I go, oh, it's time for lunch, I know like when my stomach gets hungry, or when I get hungry, it's like, oh man, I'm hungry, I want to eat. But what am I going to do after I get done eating? Like, how much time do I have for lunch? Do I have another appointment after lunch? Do I need to get there early? Is this appointment across town? Do I have an airplane to catch? Like, do I have a trip? So having that ritual before lunch sets the intention of what you're going to do afterwards, after lunch. So when you get done with lunch, it's a quick, easy zip right into the productivity of the day, instead of sitting at your desk and going, oh man, what am I gonna do? I have this stuff. And you see these people in corporate America, and you see these people in their jobs and businesses, and you're just like, it's like they're waiting for something to happen to get back in the flow of the day. By us doing it before lunch, we set that intention of knowing what we're going to do, and we shorten that and become more productive than our peers. And we also become more productive for our employer. And by doing that, we get rewarded. And then also, like on top of that, as you'll see later on in the lessons, I'll show you how you can leverage that productivity to negotiate for a raise, for vacation, for other things. And I'll give you the formalities on how to word that and how to communicate that and how to show that value without sounding like a whiny person or someone who deserves. So make sure you put this in for your calendar, okay? You're going to check your calendar 3 times a day. Or your tasks 3 times a day, just to see what your workflow is. So you're going to have an opening ritual, a before lunch ritual, and a closing ritual where you're going to religiously check this. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already for more tips. Hit the comments. Leave me questions. No bars, like just go all the way through. No holds bar, I should say. So leave me the questions down below. I'll answer them. And go on to the next episode. See you soon.